So if you remember earlier, we talked about our science lesson of ammonia gets converted to nitrites and then nitrites into nitrates. And we want to get rid of the nitrates out of the pond so we don't have to look at the stringy fuzzy algae. So that's the biggest role that plants play in the pond, is they get rid of the nitrates so they starve that stringy fuzzy type algae. But bottom line is, when we talk about nitrates and we talk about removing nutrients so you have less string algae, stringy algae doesn't care what type of nutrient it is. Like for example, this particular plant here, there's a certain nutrient that produces that beautiful pink color. There's another nutrient in there that produces that leaf. This is society garlic. So if you ever break the stem off there, you can smell it smells like garlic. That's a certain nutrient that it's removing from the pond to be able to produce that characteristic. This purple flower, this white stripe on the leaf, all of those characteristics are using up a different nutrient. So without getting too much into the weeds about all of those, each one of these different characteristics pulls out a different nutrient. String algae will use up all of those different nutrients. So string algae doesn't care. So if we want to reduce stringy fuzzy algae, let's put a variety of plants in there. Something tall, something short. A round leaf is going to take out a different nutrient than like an iris leaf or an acorus leaf. This spike rush is going to take out a different nutrient than the bloody dock. So look at all the different nutrients that this guy needs to grow to do all of that. So the key to reducing that stringy fuzzy type algae is let's starve the algae by putting other plants in there that are going to use up those nutrients. Does that make sense? So so people always say, well, I don't know what type of plants to put in my pond. It's like, put them all in, Somebody you asked how many plants in the pond. So understanding that that's the role that plants play in the pond, is they suck out the nutrients. The next thing we're worried about is, what does it look like? And so, if you ask me to help you design plants to go in the pond, I'll go over to the plant tables and I'll just start grabbing different plants and we'll just start putting like groupings of plants together. And I'm like, what, that kind of looks good. That's kind of a little arrangement. So we have, some different colors, different textures, different heights, different bloom times. Those types of things, will look good together. So maybe like these three guys would look good, together. So we have a couple different variegated colors and different textures, things like that. So it looks good for us, but it's also, keep in mind, it's doing a job of filtration. It's filtering out those nitrates. So like this is a marsh marigold, so that's one of the first things to bloom in the pond. So this blooms about the same time as a forsythia, usually. So I love having marsh marigold in there because that's pulling out those early season, nutrients. But to pair that up, with a purple cardinal flower. So this guy here is kind of getting done for the season. This guy here is just starting, but that red to green contrast looks awesome. But imagine the nutrients that are being pulled away with the red versus the green leaf, the yellow flower versus the flower on the cardinal flower. So the amount of plants you put in your pond, pretty much just put them in, until you can't see the fish anymore. And you're like, all right, I have too many plants.